Okay, we're gonna go over with you today some quick cold and flu remedies that we both use for ourselves that help us. Let's just say first, if you start to feel like you're coming down with something.
Spray this.
So everybody needs to know about HOCl. This is HOCl. It's made by taking distilled water, adding a solution of vinegar and baking soda, and an electrical current going through it, but it's what our body uses to kill our own bacteria, viruses, fungi.
It's like our body naturally makes it.
Yeah, so our body recognizes it and it's not going to inhibit all the good bacteria as well.
Mhm.
So
You can use
this
that.
there's different dilutions. Now this one says topical skin spray, but it's actually not super concentrated that you can't mist it on your face.
Mhm. This is one of it.
Feel like even I'm opening my eyes. She's closing hers. You could spray it in your ears. And there's actually ones that are even less concentrated that you can drop directly into your ear. You could spray this in your mouth. It doesn't taste the greatest, but tastes kind of like chlorine. But HOCl acutely can help, especially if you're around someone who is not feeling well.
Mhm.
Virus can get in your eye, can get in your ears, can get in your nose. And yeah, you have an immune system, but sometimes you need a little help.
But also, like we use it as like a hand sanitizer too.
Yeah, I mean, you can clean your hands with this. This is a more concentrated HOCl that you can that you make. It's through Nature Force, which we have on our Instagram of someone making it. And it's more concentrated and it can clean surfaces. This one can still kills a lot on surfaces, but that one's just even stronger. So HOCl is a biohack in itself.
Yeah.
I mean,
we use it for everything.
I think that you should be using this instead of alcohol-based hand sanitizer.
Even that mouthwash.
So this one is specifically an HOCl that's concentrated for using it as a mouth rinse. But another thing you can do that you can nebulize this.
Yes, yeah.
So I have a nebulizer, but I actually don't know where it is. But you just take this and you put it into a little dish in the nebulizer, and then it makes it into a mist, and you can inhale it, and it can
I
kill
use that
stuff
a
in your
lot
lungs.
for like
Yeah,
even like sore throats. And
yeah.
stuff.
And then so this is our HOCl is one of our big, huge hacks for colds. And then the other thing that's going to be second in line to that is propolis.
Yeah.
Right.
So we
So
travel a lot with these.
we travel with these. So
mouth spray.
And then this is a nasal spray. And so propolis is what the bee uses to hold together the beehive. And it's sticky and it has lots of functions, including, again, antifungal, antibacterial, antiviral. It sticks onto different things that shouldn't be there and helps bring it out. So you'll see if you use this nasal spray, let it sit for a bit and then blow your nose, it's pulling a lot of stuff out. So nasal sinuses should be clean anyways. Like a lot of nasal hygiene has become part of our daily routines because chronic kind of nasal stuff is considered an above the collar infection and can create brain inflammation and make you more at risk for other things.
But even some people will do like they'll spray this first, and then they'll do like a neti pot rinse after. So they'll spray and then they'll wait like a couple minutes, blow their nose, and then do a neti rinse after with the saline solution.
Yeah. And so there's also, we have a propolis cough syrup. We have propolis, like beekeepers is one of our big thing. This is a different company from Bee Healthy Farms, but you need to know this stuff if you're not allergic to bee products, which I was in the past, by the way. Stings, not the other honey and all of that. But propolis, there's also a propolis inhaler that I have. And propolis, if you have any mold problems, you should have a propyl air. So
diffuser,
yeah, it's the only thing that can diffuse. And I have one in my car too. So, because mold can be in your car, but I had that new car smell, and you can diffuse propolis into the air, and it literally grabs on. In one day, 75% of mold is brought out of the air. So, but you can inhale it. There's a therapeutic model and you can inhale it. We have the one by Key Science, but there's a few at Bee Healthy Farms, which everything that we're talking about, we can link down in the bio. So that is huge. The other thing with propolis,
I was thinking about, you mentioned the cough syrup too, from beekeepers. I didn't see it here.
I have it in there. We might have to get more.
It's
But-
so good.
But these are
I love
all
it.
things that we use. It's a nighttime one. Do they
It's
have a
nighttime.
daytime
It
one
has
too?
no, they just have well, I don't know if they have daytime one, but the
Mhm.
one that we've used is the nighttime one, and it has a
Mhm.
little bit of melatonin in it
Yeah.
too, and elderberry,
Yeah.
and it's
And so-
so soothing.
And so these are
Coughs.
great for preventing, but as
Mhm.
well as like while you
Wow.
have it. So this one you spray liberally at the back of your throat and
Mhm.
you can use it multiple times. We have these cough drops have a bit of vitamin D and zinc, but we're going to go into these other things now. So those are like the more kind of topical things. We talked about rinsing with a neti pot
Mhm.
using the after spraying your nose with the propolis. Another big thing that we talk about a lot are binders. So you can use binders to grab onto the viruses in your nose too, Viride Chem binder or Carboxy, which are binders from Cellcore.
You like sprinkle a little bit of, open the capsule, sprinkle a little bit in the saline solution, so the water mixed with the salt, and then do it through your nose.
Mhm. Yeah. And that's going to grab
It can
onto
burn
more.
though.
Because like, for instance, Viride Chem binder is a binder that binds onto viruses, radiation, and chemicals.
Mhm.
Should we show them?
Oh,
Did you?
I
bring it?
grabbed
Oh,
it.
perfect. So I guess we'll go into binders. So this is Viride Chem. Viride Chem, that stands for virus because it actually interrupts the viral envelope, binds onto viral load, inhibits viruses in many different ways. So like this is like a very powerful tool for colds or flus. And
Mhm.
you know, it's not to say you're not going to catch them, but at least you can kind of shorten them, take the burden off the body. It creates a lot of inflammation. We don't want that.
And
hanging around.
also, speaking about traveling, it's also good for traveling.
Good for traveling on the plane, the
Like
radiation, right? So a lot of people also get colds from traveling.
Mhm.
And then other things, because I just mentioned it creates a lot of inflammation, is something, anything for oxidative damage. So let's say liposomal C is really helpful in the short term. You can dose up to bowel tolerance, so you're going to get like some diarrhea from it, and that's when you know you've hit your
Hit your
threshold.
limit.
So I think 1 teaspoon is 1 teaspoon is 1,000 milligrams. So most people's bowel tolerance is not past 5,000.
Mhm.
So you can kind of spread it out and see, because it makes your gut a bit acidic, but people have heard of vitamin C IVs, they're doing like
Mhm, they're doing a
10,000
lot
more
higher.
than that. So in the short term, it's very beneficial. So
I mean, you can also just like take vitamin C capsules. We have the Stellar C there.
the Stellar C is a bit different. It's a mix of like ascorbates and mixed ascorbates, and it's got some quercetin, which helps with like the histamine response that we get when we're sneezing a lot or coughing and all that. So this is another great one too. And
Even
again,
like
good dose up.
preventatively too, because I mean, in the winter, people are like, what should I be taking so I don't get sick? Like taking something like a Stellar C or vitamin D,
Cod liver oil.
cod liver oil.
Cod liver oil. And I mean, optimally, you're going to be, you test for your vitamin D because this has some D2 in it. It's not D3, which they test, but you could get both tested. It's got vitamin A. I mean, technically, you can overdose on any fat soluble vitamin. This says 2 a day, even if you did 1 a day or 1 every 2 days. And if you're sick, you can go to a higher dose because you're only going to use it for a short time. And we have a guide for that. So I think after that, we should talk about these, link our guide, and then people can feel more confident. Other things,
Because you can overdose on vitamin D is what she's trying to get at. Because
any
we've had
fat
people,
soluble vitamin A, D,
D,
E,
E,
K.
K. You can
Not
overdose.
K2, just K1. Okay, so the other thing you want to work on is drainage. So there's so many options for drainage. If you get sick and you're not already on drainage, like maybe starting with a TUDCA is okay. Or if you have access to herbal drainers, I mean,
I like those ones.
these 3 are really good ones. This is Buco, Lapa, and A hepatica. This supports the liver, which is filtering a lot when you're sick. This one supports the kidney and this cleans the blood. So this is more lymphatic, that's more kidney, that's more liver.
And like you need to work on drainage because that's how your body's like
Getting
Steph
rid
just
of
said,
the
getting rid of the toxins. A lot of times, like if you actually start to get to know your body, which I definitely feel like I've started to realize in the last couple years more than ever before. Like your body gives you signs before you actually start getting sick. Like you might get stiffness in your like neck or your jaw, or you might start getting like fullness in your head, or you might start having lymph nodes get swollen. Like those are all indicators that things are not draining and therefore they're building up. And then you're still going to start getting symptoms, like maybe a headache or a sore throat, or start, having a backflow of congestion and start sneezing and nasal
And
drainage
we're
issues.
trying to keep it simple. We're not great at that. So this will be our last drainage, but there's other stuff like this is why you can also work with us, because we can give you lots of personalized stuff. But these are another general one. These are a different trio. The other ones were herbal. These ones are homeopathic. Renalex clears the kidneys, Itiris clears the lymph, and Apohepat clears the liver. So that's helping with drainage, get the junk out, right? So then there's the actual treating of the virus or lowering the viral load. Actually, let's do some more support first. So we obviously, people know zinc, people know probiotics, people know vitamin D. So vitamin D, you can dose up if you haven't been taking. The problem we run into is sometimes people were taking 10,000 IU
for like a year.
For years without even knowing what their level was. So maybe you don't have low vitamin D, but everyone was scared into like needing it. So it is not easy to overdose on it, but it happens a lot because people aren't wary of that.
People just think it's a supplement, I can take it.
Yeah.
And then they just take too much of it.
So same with zinc. I mean, zinc can unbalance copper, but so these are a lower dose of zinc. This is a higher dose of zinc. But zinc helps clear heavy metals and all this stuff too. Zinc is something you can use on a daily basis, maybe in a lower dose. But you can dose up safely if you've used it before. If it can give you like diarrhea and vomiting if you don't take it with food, if you have a sensitive liver.
Like, I feel like nausea too.
And nausea, because it can make you actually throw up. So I did that once with this guy right here, because
I used to be sensitive to that too.
Because I'm very sensitive. I have to do drops. So the lozenge is good because you could take a little nibble and see how you do with it and then work up. So zinc is just helping your white blood cells. It's helping you clear stuff out. Something for histamine or like quercetin that helps like, the actual zinc get into the cell, which is really antiviral and it's all that. So that's really helpful. Immunotone. We like this one too. This isn't the only one to support your immune system, but it's got a blend of mushrooms. It's got some other herbs like echinacea that a lot of people have heard about. What else we got? Astragalus and andrographis. They actually treat viruses to an extent too. Green tea, which is like an antioxidant. It got some lauric acid, which inhibits candida and viruses. So this is like, and it's got the glucans that help your gut immune system. So this is a great product if you're not sensitive to mushrooms. You dose up when you can dose down and take a low dose in flu season or cold season. But if you're prone to lots of colds and flus, like I'd say that this support can be very necessary. Then there's treating the actual more physically the bug.
If you're like actively sick.
We love Vital 9.
I love Vital 9. It tastes terrible, but I love it.
Vital 9 is a beautiful mix of liposomal herbs that treat very well, especially very supportive for the lungs. And we didn't show NAC, but NAC is also very supportive for the lungs, and really it's present in the TUDCA that supports the liver and supports the multiple other places because it's a signaling thing. Probiotics, I mean, Megaspore is one that we like because especially if you're on antibiotics, you want to use like a Saccharomyces or a spore-based probiotic, but probiotics can help your gut immune system, and so can gut immune. Gut immune is just like donating immunoglobulins for the short term while you're trying to work through not feeling well, but they can be really helpful for gut health in general. And it's something that comes up low in a lot of people, and it's going to help with leaky gut. So leaky gut is common, and it happens more once you're sick because your gut becomes more leaky when you are sick. This is a topical drainer. So I showed you Itiris, which drains the lymph. And this is its topical one, so you can help clear your throat, because strep and all of this thing, when it starts building, it's because the lymph, there's so much waste and it's not moving out. you can move it out, you're gonna feel better faster.
Smart silver and biocidin.
Yeah.
So once again, antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral.
Both broad spectrum kind of killing blends. This
Yeah.
is silver, which
This
this
isn't a
is
spray, but
this isn't
you
a
can
spray,
also
but
get
you can
the
do teaspoons when you're
drops.
sick. So one thing about silver, okay, so this is pH structured silver. So there's not a bioaccumulation. It's going to come out with the wash. I don't know what that means when people say that, but you know, you'll pee
You're
it out,
not
you'll
going
go it out. You're
to-
not going to
yeah.
turn blue or have the worrisome problems with silver. And plus, we're only going to use it in the short term. Small amounts of sprays in the back of your throat is not going to do anything. I had someone compare this to like, you know, they used to think it was safe to like play with mercury, but it's not that. They have accepted the fact that yes, silver can bioaccumulate, and then they found a solution for it by buffering it with a certain pH. So, you know, this has saved my butt multiple times, even killing Lyme when things stirred up. I would just dose silver that day to bring everything down, and it's been like a lifesaver for me. And it can be used, you know, instead of killing all your good bacteria with like a antibiotic, it has a very good broad spectrum, and it's very good at cleaning wounds. It's something that you should have in your
on hand,
in your at-home pharmacy, along with iodine. And you know, yeah, iodine's even helpful during cold and flu. So biocidin, iodine can be used. We have a guide on this, and it shows you, okay, here's some preventative stuff. Here's how you dose
it up for sickness.
for acutely sick. And when you're acutely sick, it's pretty amazing. The body can accept stuff that it normally wouldn't. Like some people who are sensitive to supplements, or maybe you can't take zinc, but then when you're sick, you can just take it because your body's knows it needs help. So the body's very, very interesting like that. And none of this to say is that you can't just have a cold and flu and suffer through it. But I'm the type of person
I'd
that
I'd
rather help my immune system,
feel better.
I don't want it to become stealth. I don't want to overload my system with toxins and turn something else in our body, because we all have like a pathogenic load in our body. Those are different organisms that are living in us, on us, and they have a capacity to do shapeshift. It's called pleomorphism, but it's just the ability for an organism to be just living in our body, but then it becomes opportunistic, which means it sees that you're inflamed and your immune system's concentrating on something else, and then they come out of hiding and you've got a lot of stuff to deal with. And we've seen that a lot with what people are calling long COVID. It's not necessarily that COVID's in their system anymore. It's that
activated other things.
So this is a way to stop that from happening and save yourself lots of suffering. So I hope this is helpful. We're going to try and even get more specific as we do more things, but
I mean, there's at the end of the day, there's things that you can, you know, be taking if you just want to prevent and you want your immune system to stay strong, especially during cold and flu. But I mean, people still get colds and
all
flus
the
in the
time,
summer, so it doesn't really matter.
especially lately. I don't know if everyone's noticed that, but our immune systems are a little bit more sluggish in general.
But then also you can take stuff that's a little bit stronger or dose up the stuff that you're taking when you actually get sick.
Okay,
So
but I'd like to finish with, if I was just to pick a few things that I needed to, this is what I would have on hand.
Okay.
Silver. Vital 9.
Vital 9 for sure. Those absolutely. Like this is definitely the stuff that if we're traveling, this stuff's coming with us.
Because always the thing.
You can't always take everything, but
and I'm looking for a binder, but
there's Beard Chem right there.
Okay, so
this
I
is
guess
like a
this is
good
our
basic
very
kind of
I'm happy.
catch-all.
I'm happy with that. If you could
you have a binder, you have stuff for drainage, you have like a natural kind of antibacterial spray, then you have stuff for your throat and your nose, because a lot of stuff gets in there and
that's where
festers.
it starts to fester. It all starts to replicate in the nasopharynx. So if you can access that and lower it with these and even extra bonus that, I mean, you're ahead of the game.
Kind of killing if it gets worse.
And then this for binding all of the waste that happens.